Obsessive-compulsive disorder, otherwise known as OCD, is one of the most widely misconceived and stigmatized mental health conditions. This image shows some common misconceptions of OCD versus what it's actually like. In popular culture and the media, calling someone out for having OCD would falsely represent the person as overly orderly and clean. However, OCD is much more dimensional and detrimental than how it is perceived. It is important to note that on the reality pie slice, counting is included. However, this is not always the case for people with OCD. Counting may be a symptom for some, though not for all. Let's break down the parts of the phrase obsessive-compulsive disorder to properly understand its definition. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, obsessions are uncontrollable, recurring thoughts, while compulsions are repetitive behaviors, and disorder meaning an irregularity in the functions of physical or mental health. Before we go over some symptoms of OCD, here's a quick disclaimer stating do not use this video to diagnose yourself or someone else. Please talk to a mental health professional if you think you or someone you may know may have obsessive-compulsive disorder. People with OCD experience intrusive thoughts or images and/or carry out repeated behaviors. The repeated behaviors are meant to combat the unwanted thoughts, and they follow strict, incoherent rules that are unique to each individual. Like other mental illnesses, the etiology of OCD is difficult to identify. Risk factors of the disorder include biological factors like genetics and environmental factors like childhood trauma. There has not been a known gene or set of genes that trails back to OCD, but research in the genetics of OCD continue. The National Institute of Mental Health found that having a first-degree relative, parent or sibling, with OCD is associated with an increased chance of developing the disorder. Many studies have been done in an attempt to pinpoint where obsessive-compulsive disorder is in the brain. Multiple brain areas, processes, and networks are involved in obsessive thoughts and compulsive behavior. Different brain imaging techniques and measurements of electrical activity have been utilized to find out the psychopathology of OCD. In the study Dysfunctional Brain Circuitry in Obsessive-Compulsive Disorder, Source and Coherence Analysis of EEG Rhythms, Velikova and colleagues compared the resting electroencephalogram or EEG activity of 37 patients with OCD and 37 healthy control subjects. Their findings suggest that people with OCD show increased brain activity in certain areas like the insula and frontal, parietal, and limbic lobes, especially in the delta and beta brainwave frequencies. There is also less communication between the left and right hemispheres and weaker connections between different brain rhythms. These patterns suggest that the parts of the brain responsible for controlling behavior and emotions may be working differently in people with OCD. Treatment of obsessive-compulsive disorder often includes cognitive behavioral therapy and medication, or a combination of the two for more effectiveness. Another option for individuals with OCD who choose not to take medication or are resistant to treatment is neurofeedback therapy. Neurofeedback is a therapy that can help train the brainwaves to oscillate at more functional frequencies. In 2022, a systematic literature review and meta-analysis on effectiveness of neurofeedback for obsessive-compulsive disorder was published. 9 studies were evaluated, and results showed that neurofeedback is an effective treatment option for reducing the symptoms of obsessive-compulsive disorder. While only 9 studies were analyzed, and more research must be done on the topic, the paper suggested that neurofeedback can take place of high-risk interventions for treating OCD, like radiosurgery and deep brain stimulation. Getting help for having OCD is accessible. One may seek support groups online or in person and call or email an OCD helpline.